folks, this is Jadius,
And this is Bass.
and we're in the Wood League, and so are you. And today we've got a ZVT between Darkforce, the red Zerg, and Demuslim, the light blue Terran, down here in the corner.
Jadius, quick question for you today.
Alright, shoot.
What do you think of Civ 5?
Well,
Do you recommend that I get it?
yeah, I got Civ 5 on launch day. I'm a big Civilization fan. I was really excited about this. They made a lot of fundamental changes to the game. Unfortunately, the multiplayer has gone totally bunko lately in the last 2 days, and no one's been able to play any games online. The game starts, and no one can move, and no one can do anything. So we're hoping that Firaxis, comes out with a patch pretty soon. Loving the single player. I can't wait to get on there multiplayer-wise and rip
Real
up.
quick here, I'm noticing that Darkforce is using this strange, I don't know if you've heard of this, Jadius, but the strange drone queuing trick, where you queue the drones to return their minerals really fast, and early game, I guess when you have nothing else to do, it slightly improves the speed at which you get minerals. So that's pretty interesting.
Oh, interesting. How does that work exactly?
I watched another video on YouTube that explains it, but basically, while your drones are coming back, you can click return cargo and then right-click the minerals over and over again, and it'll eliminate the slight delay that drones have before returning with minerals. Apparently it causes you to get minerals 7% faster per drone. So, I don't know. I guess, it makes a tiny difference early game. Maybe you'll end up with an extra 20 minerals to throw around after the first minute, but I don't know. I've tried it a couple times, and I kind of stopped doing it.
Definitely some pro stuff. Gotta be pro.
Yeah,
Gotta.
And it increases your early game APM, which everyone...
Everybody knows is the most important thing in the world.
Yeah,
right now, looks like the Muslim doing a bit of a bunker rush. I don't know if it's exactly a bunker rush or more of just a kind of a safeguard against expansion, because that's not really going to do anything to any forces coming down Darkforce's ramp, but it will maybe prevent any future expansions from going out. Darkforce.
It's an odd decision. It's a bit late, because if Darkforce was going to early expand, I think it would have done it by now. And looks like this SCV is going to... Nope. I was worried he might lead those Zerglings back to the bunker, but that's not the case. And look at that. It looks like Darkforce was intending to expand, and the bunker will delay it.
Yeah, the worker was sent out there almost simultaneously with the two Zerglings to go out and do a little bit of scouting. Good news for Darkforce. He's going to be able to see that bunker before Demuslim is able to get any Marines in there. Meanwhile, just a couple of Marines waiting here at Demuslim's base. Probably going to be able to take care of the Zergling if he can get the supply depot up. Yes, he will be able to do that. He's going to block out that Zergling, and it's not going to cause any more problems for any SCVs. Meanwhile, Darkforce has got that bunker down, and the expansion will be able to start unharassed.
I'm wondering something real quick.
Sure.
If a bunker gets salvaged when it has only 10% of its hit points left, do you still get all of the resources back?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's a channeled salvage, so if you can get the timer down before it is destroyed, you get the full mineral count back.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's very interesting.
Yeah, well, I guess the Terrans, they just throw all that metal into like a recycling plant, and they turn it into something new. So it doesn't matter what state it's in, really.
Fair enough.
You're able to, they have very advanced recycling technologies on the Terran planets, and
The Muslim are pulling out some Hellions here, which I find to be completely essential against Zerg. Actually, great tool to use for harassment, and it can really throw a Zerg off his game, and I find it a very important part of an anti-Zerg strategy as Terran.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've talked about, you and me, Baeus, the timing, though, incredibly important as far as Hellions are concerned. Roach is coming out now for Darkforce. Do you think that maybe the time has passed for him to really be effective with these Hellions?
Well, it depends on what you mean by effective. I think these Hellions will be able to sneak into the back of Darkforce's base and poach a bunch of drones, do some damage to the economy. But as far as actually winning the game, putting the game away, it is too late for that. It's too late to really affect him to the maximum extent that is possible with Hellions. But I think, Hellions are kind of like Terran's answer to Zerglings, right? They can do a run by, they can get in the back of your base and destroy a bunch of your workers before you even know what's happening.
Looks like the upgrade on those Hellions has been completed, so their flames are going to do significantly more damage to the Zerglings and the drones. But the roaches are going to get on their case very quickly. These Zerglings are going to get burned down, but I think the roaches will just be able to flank them. Note the Hellion a little bit too fast, and he's going to start to go to work on these main base drones. It will go down now. Looks like maybe one or two drones there, one or two drones in the expansion did go down. So some pretty good harassment, I think, for the amount of minerals that Demuslim spent.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that trade-off was worth it, but you know what? Like, there is a finite point in the game when Hellions become much less useful, and that point is when Zerglings get their speed upgrade, and that point has passed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to start spending gas at some point. Of course, Hellions cost no gas, even though they have a flamethrower. Someone explained that to me. But you got to start making gas units, and that is Demuslim is making siege tanks right now, moving to more of a siege build. Bunkers going up at his natural expansion as he gets that up and running. So it looks like Hellions, for the time being, over, and probably for the rest of the game.
Yep, it seemed like he was just, I don't know, it seemed like a spur-of-the-moment decision to make some Hellions and throw them in there. It wasn't his intention from the beginning. Hellions can be brought out real quick, and he kind of brought them out a little later than they usually come out, so he's definitely changing his tactic now for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's an inexpensive way to get some really decent scouting done, and maybe poach a few workers if you are so inclined, or do have the positioning on the workers that you find yourself able to take a few free shots at them. But inexpensive scouting, which Terrans, is invaluable to Terrans early game, because scans are at a premium when you're trying to mount up your economy and get those mules working at full capacity. So yeah, I mean, very, very valuable strategy to use Hellions effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're using them to scout, you gotta try not to lose them, you know. And Darkforce got them in a corner back there with that spawning pool, and they all went down. So it becomes a bit more of an expensive scouting if you lose 300 minerals.
It's true, but I think 4 or 5 workers going down and being able to see what the Zerg was building is a pretty fair trade-off, I think, in my opinion. If he hadn't got any workers down, if they had just gotten cornered by the roaches, which I thought might have happened if the roaches were a little bit closer to the ramp initially, but I think Demuslim did a good job of going to the natural mineral expansion via the back door first, rather than just going up the main base ramp, like I think most people would do, and got a lot more time out of those Hellions than he usually would have.
Fast Overlord, actually. Dark Forest spent that hugely nerfed 200-200 on that Fast Overlord to run in on Muslim's expansion to see what he's got there. So he probably would have seen all those siege tanks up